G'day kids, Briggsy here. On the coffee run, I'm joined by Eleni Glouftsis. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, for those of you who don't know, Eleni, you do AFL field umpiring?
I do. It's my second year on the senior list as an AFL field umpire.
Fantastic. Now, we spoke during the week. You told me you started in year 9?
Year 9, so 13 seasons ago now. It feels like a while ago.
Wow. And how did you get into it? I assume your parents did some umpiring?
Not really. I just loved footy. So I grew up next to an SNFL footy oval and just loved being involved, playing, and umpiring was just a really great way to do that. So I gave the basic umpires course a go and started umpiring and really enjoyed it, and my passion just grew from there.
You play some football during school time? Or?
I did. I played through primary school and all through high school and absolutely loved it. So I don't know what I would have done if the AFLW was around like it is today, but I'm definitely happy with my choice to umpire.
So you can still kick a footy, right though?
Oh, I give it a good go, absolutely.
Fair enough. And I suppose I talked to quite a few other people about it, and they realised that, oh, look, I'm not going too well at it, so I might as well sort of take up umpiring. So, yeah. Hey, first, a lot of firsts for you. All right. You've first on the SANFL amateurs competition that you officiated down there. First game was between Adelaide and Glenelg, is that correct?
North Adelaide.
North Adelaide and Glenelg. Okay, sorry, apologies for that. How was that? Was it exciting?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot more media attention and things than I'd expected. I guess it was the first female to umpire a state league match. Yep. But it was really positive. I had a really fantastic day and everyone was really supportive. It was great.
And in 2016, obviously elevated, or was it rookie listed, or elevated to the list, and you did the pre-season match?
Yeah, elevated to the rookie list that year and umpired Essendon versus Carlton at Princes Park, and that was again just another really exciting opportunity. And you know, I couldn't believe all the media attention, but it was just fantastic, so positive, and it was just a great kind of step in the right direction for me.
And finally, got yourself a match last year, round 9. Essendon played West Coast Eagles. How was that? Would that be the highlight of your career so far? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, it probably wasn't in terms of my umpiring my best game to remember, but I think that it was, you know, a really fantastic opportunity, and the week was just incredibly crazy but positive, and you know, I just couldn't be happier to finally walk out into that field and umpire my first match. Fantastic.
Outside of AFL footy, what do you reckon your greatest achievement has been so far? Or obviously that's a big one, but is there anything outside of that that you've done you think, well, you know, that compares to?
Oh look, I'm a PE and science teacher, and I think that you know, sometimes it's a challenging and time-consuming occupation, but it's really rewarding at the same time. And you know, you have those days that are more challenging or more rewarding than others, but overall, you know, to feel like you're helping influence others, and particularly in terms of health and fitness, to help them to achieve their goals or to understand the importance of it in life, is just a really rewarding task.
It's a secondary school?
Secondary school.
Yep. And so do you cover all grades through secondary school there? Or?
Year 7 to 10 at this year, so you get to kind of see the younger kids and obviously up to the older kids who get a bit more of an understanding of the different concepts. But you know, overall we love talking about footy, love talking about health and fitness, and it's great.
And you're not the head of department or anything like that, eh?
No, I don't have time for that at the moment, unfortunately.
Fair enough. So you get dictated what you have to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a shame. I introduce, obviously through my job, go through to a lot of PE classes and try and actually introduce umpiring into a few schools, and we're running a few academies at the moment. Don't do anything like that?
Our school already has an umpiring academy. We're part of the Essendon District League, and so we have a couple of those umpires come out once a week during the winter time, and they run a session with the boys there, and a lot of the boys at our school are now following up umpiring, and love to have a chat about it. I'd love to chat to them about their umpiring journey.
That's awesome. Have you got any hobbies? I know, very busy, obviously AFL football takes up a fair bit of your time. What do you do in your downtime?
Oh look, I had this conversation with someone the other day about what would I do if I had the choice of reading a good book, watching a movie, or watching the footy, and I just love the footy. Yeah. You know, if I'm not umpiring, I love watching good games of footy. It doesn't matter who it's between. If it's a good, exciting match, it's just something I love to go hang out with my mates and, you know, just watch and really enjoy it. It's such an exciting game.
The bounce, it's been contentious for a while. Keep it or get rid of it?
Look, it doesn't faze me. You know, we don't get to make those decisions, so whatever happens. But I understand both points of view. Obviously, the bounce is so traditional, and you know, even a couple of boys at school the other day were talking about it and said, you know, how good is it on grand final day when that first bounce goes down, and you know, it's the centre of attention. It's so significant. And then on the opposing hand, we've had, you know, a significant number of injuries and things that have possibly come from the bounce, and so I understand both sides of things, and at the end of the day, it's not our choice and it's staying, so that's how it is.
Fair enough. I agree with it. like you say, it's tradition. It's similar to pushing for a twilight match, grand final. It's at 3:20 in the afternoon. It's always been an afternoon match, always at the G, and obviously it's a bit different story when you've got say Port Adelaide or Sydney or West Coast in the grand final, and it's sort of I think 2 interstate teams playing in Melbourne, but it's the home of footy, and I think that's where it needs to stay. So keep the traditions going as far as I'm concerned. Have you got any role models that you think back to, say a particular coach back in the day when you keep in touch with them, or is there someone in your life at the moment who's a big influence on your career?
Well, I guess all through my career, once I joined the SANFL in year 12, Shane Harris was the coach there, and he's always been a really positive, encouraging influence, and that's saying obviously all of my coaches along the way were really fantastic and encouraging. I wouldn't be here today if they weren't. But Shane Harris has been one who's been such a great support to me, and a few things he says I still think back to, and I think the most important one that he used to say all the time was, if they want to play footy, let them. And so that's one kind of thing we always live by at the SANFL. And then finally, in every email he'd ever send, he said, but most of all, enjoy. And that's something that I always go back to. If you're not enjoying it, then it's not for you. So as long as you're enjoying it, you keep pushing and you keep trying to do your best at it.
Sure, yeah. And do you see yourself as a bit of a role model then towards female umpires actually trying to get into AFL football, or through umpiring? Courtney Gibson in Queensland is probably a good example. She's moved down there at the moment. So any words, or see yourself as that role model for those type of people coming through? I
think the AFLW in itself is really exciting, and just to see women and females in all different roles. So obviously it's really great that Chelsea and myself and Sally are able to umpire and show that aspect of it, but then it's fantastic to see all the women coaches and all the women players and things like that. And so I think the most important thing is that there's no boundary now. It doesn't matter what gender you are, what background you are, there's an opportunity for you to be involved in footy at the elite level, which is just awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
My daughter played a fair bit of football. She did her ACL a couple of years ago, so she hasn't played for a while. Did a bit of goal umpiring at the stage. She's not a massive fan of goal umpiring. I don't know why, but she's actually really, really good at it. I really wanted her to keep going, but she's actually now taken up a bit of coaching. So, and you see, obviously, with the AFLW, there's a fair few coaching roles, and a lot of women getting into the umpiring as well. I think the AFL embrace, having the females part of the team is really, really good. Other family members, is it Dylan?
Dylan, my partner, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, so
boundary umpire?
He's a boundary umpire. So we actually met at the SANFL back in when I was in year 12. So we've been together for a long time now. But the really fantastic thing about that is we both understand the commitment that umpiring is. It's not just something you do on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It's really a life thing. And the great thing about being with him is that we can talk about umpiring decisions. We can watch the footy and really enjoy it. But we have a lot of fun just going kicking the footy ourselves and doing different things like that. So I'm really lucky to have him. Also my mum and dad and my nana. So pretty much for my whole umpiring career when I was in Adelaide, they'd come along to all of my matches. And it's not the most exciting thing or the most fun thing probably to go and watch an umpire on most occasions, but they came along and supported, and I can't be more thankful about all of their encouragement and support along the way.
Watching a game of football, and you say you watch a fair bit of footy, do you actually watch it for the enjoyment of it, or occasionally do you slip into that mode of, well, they got that free kick right, or that was a great decision, or how do you look at footy now? I know when I first started umpiring myself, initially going, and then I went, hang on, I've got to switch off here, watch the football for the enjoyment of it. Absolutely, you always fall into that trap, and you're always umpiring when you're watching a game, but I think that generally if the game's pretty exciting, there's a lot happening, you can just enjoy the footy. So all of us as umpires, we umpire because we love footy, and so at the end of the day, we're all happy to sit down and watch a great game of footy. You're always going to kind of be, watching closely because your mates are out there umpiring and you want them to do their best. So, you're always thinking about decisions and things like that. But if it's a good game of footy, it's a great game of footy. And let's face it, there's usually 50, 60,000 umpires on the other side of the fence anyway. Absolutely. Eleni, thank you very much for joining me on the coffee run today. Go well in your JLT match up in Moreton Bay this afternoon, and hope you have a really, really good career. Thank you. Thanks a lot. No worries.